seven mistakes that you're making in your marriage. Seven mistakes that men make in their marriage. And I really want you to lean in and pay attention, especially if you're a dude. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening, what's going on, because this right here is something that will give you insight, give you perspective, and position you to level up. Like, for those who don't know, what up, IG? My name is Ayize Ma'at, co-founder of Black Love and Marriage, the page that you're on right now. What up, Lamely? That's in the room. What up, YouTube? And my wife and I, we do this work. We've been doing it together for the past 15 years. And we got over 30 years of combined experience in the mental health space. So this is what we do. And I'm lifting this up because in doing this work, I'm communicating with men on a regular basis, and I'm communicating with women on a regular basis. And there's some things that I'm seeing, some mistakes that are being made. And I want to share. Because a lot of the times what I know is that we as men sometimes just don't get it, y'all. We just don't get it. And we need clues. We need insight. We need perspective. We need people who have been down the road to position us, or at least to provide some sense of guidance so that we don't keep falling in the same trap. If you're on YouTube and you know a dude that needs to lock in, or you know a dude that needs to level up, make sure you share this link with them. If you're on Instagram, make sure you share this as well too, because again, not a lot of men are having these types of conversations, and even if you are having these types of conversations, another thing that I know is that sometimes it's hard to live by it. It's hard to live by it. So again, welcome to everybody that's in the room for tonight's Relationship Thursday. Before I begin, I just want to check in with y'all to see how y'all feeling today. IG, how you feeling? YouTube, how you feeling? Drop a comment so I can, shout you out. And then on top of that too, I want to know how you feeling. I want to know what mental and emotional space you're in. Blamley, we got a few folks in the room. How y'all feeling this evening? I'm feeling pleasant. I'm feeling grateful. I'm feeling at peace. Feeling at peace. And so, I'm feeling real good. So let me go ahead and hop into it, y'all. So tonight, again, I'm talking about 7 mistakes that men make, in their marriage. And some of these mistakes are really big and need to be addressed immediately. And then there's others that, have kind of lingered, on for some time now. And you might start to see wear and tear in your relationship, over a certain period of time. So the first one that I want to lift up, y'all, is when it comes to being married and, really attempting to level up in your relationship with your wife. One mistake that men make is that they don't lead with emotional presence. They make the mistake of not leading with emotional presence. And so what do I mean by this? Because we as men are often conditioned, taught, trained, and socialized into a position in which we prioritize getting women, prioritize getting money. One of the things that's neglected is our emotional well-being, our emotional health. And consequently, it makes it extremely difficult for us to show up as needed in the relationship in an emotional way. And so we're not leading with our emotions. We often think that providing is enough. But real talk, fellas, your woman, she craves your emotional presence. There's a thirst. There's a desire. There's an appetite for your emotional presence. And so if you're not showing up in a way in which, she feels heard, she feels valued, she feels seen, then you're coming up short, fam. You're coming up short. And so now there's a couple of things that can be done. You can, congratulations, Clyde and Amber, just got married on February the 14th. Congratulations, y'all. If y'all was on Zoom or on YouTube, you'll be able to hear the horn. I just gave them the horn. But again, she's not feeling seen, she's not feeling heard, she's not feeling valued. And so consequently, what that leads to in the relationship is some pullback, some resentment sometimes. And as a result, there's disconnect that's there. And so you may think because we've been socialized that emotions don't matter, feelings don't matter. I've even heard some men say, why you all up in your feelings? We negate the value of emotionality. We negate the value of feelings. in particular context. So let me qualify that. Some of y'all watch the All-Star Weekend. Some of y'all saw some of them slam dunks and the OGs playing against the young heads and stuff like that. And so in many instances, you'll see dudes on the court and there's a whole hell of a lot of emotionality that's present. There's a lot of feelings that are being expressed. And so it's not that we don't have them, but why is it that within the context of our intimate partner relationships, it's taboo, it's no, it's something that we don't do. And so we as men, again, we have access to emotion because we show them in different arenas of our life. We got to give ourselves permission to show them in this space as well. Again, if you're just joining, I'm talking about 7 big ass mistakes, or 7 mistakes rather, that men make in marriage. If you know a married man that needs to be on here, then do me a favor and share this link with them. YouTube, share this link. IG, share this link. Like this right here is it's real talk, y'all. It's real talk that men need to hear. And for the Johnny come latelys, again, my name is Ayize Ma'at, co-founder of Black Love and Marriage. Been married to my wife for 22 years. Let me say that because some of y'all like to be like, so are you married? I'm married, fam. I'm happily married. Happily married. 22 years in, 29 years together. I'm happily married. So I just want to put that out there because people like to look for all of the reasons why this right here, this is not applicable. And one of the things that people will say is that, oh, he ain't married, so he don't know what he's talking about. I'm married and I got 5 children. 5. So yeah, so my wife and I, we make it do what it do. So the second thing, y'all, that I want to say in terms of a mistake, a big ass mistake that men make, when it comes to being married is men avoid difficult conversations. Avoiding difficult conversations. Yes. That's another one. And not only do I know that men do it based off of me and my wife working with men, being a trained therapist and relationship coach, like I know it because I see it, but I myself have done it. I've done it. I've avoided difficult conversations. And it's so easy to slip into a space where you think that by engaging in a conversation that is going to create more tension, create more negativity, create more hostility. But the reality is that, when you avoid the difficult conversations, the pain, the disconnect, the frustration, it still lingers. It don't go nowhere. You can sweep it up under the rug, y'all, but that stuff is still there. It's still up under the rug. And so eventually what's going to happen is that the rug is going to be pulled back and you're going to see them crusty socks. You're going to see them old toys. You're going to see whatever whatever is up under there. You might even find some food up. I don't know, but you're going to see it. You're going to find it. And it's there. It's there. It's not that it's not biodegradable, y'all. It's not. What y'all are dealing with in your relationship, it needs to be addressed. It's not going to disappear. And so when you avoid the difficult conversations, like what it leads to is built up resentment. And sometimes fellas like, I don't want to get into it because I don't want her to be on 1,000. And I don't want it to be a situation in which like we start beefing and I end up sleeping in a separate bedroom and we can't talk and I don't want the kids to hear whatever it is that's going on. I hear all of it all of the time. And then one thing that men do, yes, you, men, yes, y'all, what you do and what I've done is we'll separate ourselves. We'll separate ourselves and we'll, enter into a space where we like to start self-isolating. We'll get silent and we'll shut down. And sometimes we convince ourselves that we're doing it to protect the relationship. I'm trying to protect my peace. I'm trying to protect the marriage. But all it's doing is pushing her away. It's just pushing her away. It's pushing her away because y'all not talking about it. Y'all not dealing with it. And so again, a mistake that men make is avoiding difficult conversations. These are the things that we teach inside of our community. And I work with men like one-on-one. And I'm talking about having these hard conversations on a regular basis. Some men do, some men don't. The men who do are the men who have successful and healthy relationships. The men who don't have failed marriages. Simply put, that in and of itself could save your marriage right there. Just you making a decision to have the hard, the difficult conversations, to stop avoiding those and to actually lean in could actually save your marriage. And there's a number of reasons why. I mean, you get to see the other person through a different lens. You get to, lean more towards and take a step closer towards intimacy and understanding. You get to, practice vulnerability. So there's a plethora of reasons why leaning into the conversation is more beneficial than avoiding it. But far too often, we as men, we're avoiding the difficult conversations. And that's a mistake that we're making, fellas. We got to switch it up. We got to shift it up. We got to do something different. Another mistake that dudes be making is neglecting affection and intimacy. Neglecting affection and intimacy. This is real. I've in working with women, I've heard a number of women express like, I want him to touch me. I want him to hold me. I want him to hear my heartbeat, and I want to hear his. I want him to come up behind me and kiss me on my neck. I want him to wrap his arms around me. I want him to hold my hand. I've heard women express these things. And so, fellas, when we miss the mark and think that it's all about sex, it's all about getting the draws, it's all about, hitting it, and it's all about making love, it's all about not making love, but it's all about just the sex, the penetration, that type of thing, we missed the mark, y'all. We missed the mark. Yes. In a lot of instances, women are expressing like, I want that too. I want you to make love to me. But making love isn't just sex. It's about connection. Intimacy is about connection. And when you make the decision to stop pursuing your wife, when you make the decision to stop engaging with her in an intimate way, then it creates a wedge in a relationship, emotionally and physically. And what happens ultimately is that the relationship starts to feel like a partnership. And there's an erosion to what once was. It don't feel good. She wants to feel you. I mean, I often say that, you spend the first thing you touch in the morning is your phone. You don't even touch your wife. You don't even touch your wife is not the first thing you touch. Your phone is. And if that's the case, then that's a problem. That's a problem, fam. So again, we're neglecting affection and intimacy. And when that happens, again, it starts to erode the connection in a relationship. One other thing that I want to say about this piece right here is that when it comes to intimacy, sometimes men are shying away from it because of challenges that we're having. It's a real thing. You're going to get old. Your woman going to get old too. Do you have the courage to confront yourself and have uncomfortable conversations with your wife when this happens? Just because your man ain't man in the way you would like for your man to man, it don't mean that affection is still not a requirement in a relationship. It doesn't mean that intimacy is still not a requirement in a relationship. It don't mean that, y'all. It's still there. And then on top of that, are you being intentional about trying to figure that piece out? Or are you just like sitting on your hands waiting for her to come up with the answers, or waiting for her to fall asleep, or waiting for her to feel like it's not even that big of a deal anymore? Fam, you got to prioritize the affection and the intimacy. A mistake that we're making is that we're neglecting it. Neglecting it. And if you're unclear about what it looks like for your wife, ask the question, y'all. Again, intimacy isn't just about sex. You got spiritual intimacy, you got emotional intimacy, you got mental intimacy, and you got physical intimacy. So there's levels to it. But a lot of times we just think about it from the perspective of like it's about, having sex. But nah, that can be a higher frequency or a higher vibration. But what about the other stuff too? And so again, prioritize that. Stop neglecting it. Look at it and then address it. One thing that I know is that a mistake men make is that they take their woman for granted. Stop taking your wife for granted, fam. Stop taking her for granted. It's a lot of stuff that your woman does, that your wife does for you, that she does for you, that you take for granted. And this is what happens, y'all. But I do X, Y, and Z. I do this and I do that. That's what is often said. I do A, B, C, and D, and I'm doing this, and I'm making sure that I'm taking the kids here. I'm coaching on the basketball team, and I'm doing the football practice, and blah, blah, blah. Like, bruh, if you need me to pat you on the back, let me go ahead and give you applause right here. I'm going to give you the long applause. IG, y'all can't hear it, but it's a long applause happening right now. I'm getting the fellas there claps. You do it. You do it. Keep on doing it. You got your claps, you got your applause. But the stuff that you think puts you on beast mode ain't nothing but the cost of admission. You're supposed to do it. You're supposed to do it. So the things that you want a cookie for, that you want the applause for, like you're supposed to do. I gave you the claps anyway, but beyond that, let's get back to your wife. Taking her for granted. There's a lot of stuff that she does for you that she ain't supposed to do. There's a lot of times that she's extended herself. There's a lot of times that she's encouraged, supported, inspired, taking your ass back, done X, Y, and Z that she ain't necessarily supposed to do. There's a lot of things that she's done to be there for you. And yes, your woman is supposed to be there for you. But, the gestures, the love, the extension, like if there's no appreciation that's being expressed for what she's done, if you thank everybody else, but you ain't thanking her, yeah, it's going to get old real fast. Like, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. I feel like my love is being taken for granted. And so when you make the decision that this is supposed to be, you're supposed to do this, and I said that to the fellas, but fellas, I'm challenging y'all to rise up and answer a higher call. That's what I'm doing right now. And so I've heard men say, she my wife. She's supposed to give me. She agreed to be my wife, so she's supposed to spread her legs for me. She my wife. She's supposed to cook for me. She my wife. She's supposed to, be at home with the children. You're taking her for granted, fam. These are all things that yes, it's an honor to do. I would say for a woman, to be in a relationship that's healthy, whether it be with you or with her children, like it's an honor to do. At the same time, everybody wants the applause. Everybody wants the appreciation. Everybody wants the acknowledgement. And what I'm saying to you, fam, is like, stop taking what she's doing for granted. Like I've seen wives extend themselves in so many different ways in which they're prioritizing you, they're prioritizing a relationship. And what ends up happening is that because you take what she's doing for granted, she starts to feel invisible. She don't feel seen no more. She don't feel like you value her. And so what I would encourage you to do is, again, to make it a point to acknowledge, like go overboard and express your appreciation. You don't want your wife feeling invisible, fam. You just don't. So make it a point to express your love. Another thing that men do, another big mistake that men do is this whole it's not just a man thing, but this whole defensive piece. Being defensive. Every time your wife brings up an issue, you shut down. You shut down, fam. Every time she brings up an issue. You get defensive. You attempt to gaslight. You flip it back on her. What ends up happening is that over time, like she eventually stops to talk. She stops to express herself. And the communication dies. What I'm encouraging you to do is to be open. And if she has some feedback for you, then I want to challenge you to check yourself when it comes to you not being able to take critique, not being able to take constructive feedback, not being able to take criticism, not being able to hear anything that's going to hold you accountable. If you can hear it from me right now, you can hear it from her too. So stop being defensive. And even if you are defensive, manage that. Write about it. Come see me. Connect in with a group of brothers and express what you need to express. But in front of her and with her, I want to challenge you to be open. Open to hear what she has to say. She got a different lens. She's viewing life through a different lens. She's viewing life from a different angle. She sees you in a different way. She sees your stuff. And no matter how you attempt to, like, you can't see the stuff that she sees in the way in which she sees it. Because you're not her. She can attempt to communicate and express to you what her perspective is, but again, it's still uniquely hers and there's still nuance to even what she's expressing. That in and of itself is a gift, to be able to be in relationship with somebody that's got a different vantage point and they can see things differently. They see you differently. How do I know? Because I've experienced it. You know, if you're in a relationship with a good woman is watching you. A good woman is paying attention to you. A good woman cares about you, is concerned about you, and has compassion for you. And so what does this mean? What this means is that she's watching you even when you know you're not being watched. Her eyes are on you, watching the way you walk, watching the way you talk, watching how you move. She's paying attention to you. That's a good wife. You might think that she's checking on you and she's trying to police you and et cetera, but no, that's a good wife. Now, there's been a number of times in which my wife has expressed to me, like, because she's looking at me and she's watching me and she loves me and she cares about me, that she's noticing certain things. This is a different vantage point. And so I'm lifting this up in conjunction with the piece or the mistake that we make about being defensive. We need to expand our ability to appreciate the different perspective. That's what it is. That's what it boils down to. Like, again, being defensive instead of open is fundamentally us being like fixed minded versus growth minded. So we got to push ourselves. We got to challenge ourselves and be open to experiencing and expressing, or at least embracing, a different perspective. Number 6, y'all. Number 6. Before I share number 6, IG, if you a dude that's on here and you want some additional support, comment level up, level up, level up. See your comment, Mr. B awareness. How long have we been married? 22 years together for 29. I told y'all, Mr. B just came on, but I told y'all that question comes up. And I'm not saying this is you, Mr. B, bruh. But people want to qualify. People want to qualify. Because I'm on here talking about, like, mistakes that men make in marriage. Are you married, bruh? Not only are you married, are you happily married? The answer is absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. And on top of that, the other qualifier is like, all right, I mean, y'all got kids. 5 children. 5 children. 4 adults. 3 adults, and then 2 under 18. I'm just saying that because, like, people be wanting to know. And so, and then on top of that too, we're both trained therapists, relationship coaches. So this is what we do. I mean, this is what we do. So before I get to that, again, comment level up on YouTube. I mean, on Instagram, if you're interested in growing. I'm saying this to y'all because I got a men's retreat happening March 21st to the 24th in Tennessee. For the folks on IG, you'll be able to fill out a waitlist form, and I'll reach out to you if you're interested. But for the folks that's in the Blamley, because I know y'all can actually go ahead and sign up. Y'all can go ahead and sign up. And then on YouTube, fill out that form too. I'll put the link somewhere for YouTube peoples. But or you can go to kingmecommunity.com. That's what it is. YouTube, go to kingmecommunity.com, and then you'll be directed to a wait list. All right, number 6, y'all. Number 6. Not prioritizing quality time. That's a mistake that men make. Not prioritizing quality time. This is a big one, y'all. This is a big one. And it's a big one because your wife, she's watching you being like 15 fantasy leagues when it comes to football. Not only are you doing like fantasy leagues with football, you playing PlayStation, Xbox, or whatever it may be. You go into the cigar lounge. you're going to the titty bar, whatever it is. Like she's watching you and she's seeing what you do with your time. But none of that time includes her. And it ain't got to be nothing like going out to a strip club or nothing like that. You spending all of your time coaching. It's good. Like I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. And she's proud of you. Like I got me a man that's devoted to the children. That's devoted to the youngins. And that's a great thing. It's really a great thing. Like we all got busy schedules. And so, but what she's looking for is quality time. And I know you're doing a lot, bro. But what I also know is that your name ain't Malcolm and your name ain't Martin. And you ain't doing nothing like what they doing. And even in those instances, Coretta and Betty had issues with quality time. They did. And so some of y'all might be like, I'm speaking to the men specifically, like they needed to fall back because it was about the bigger mission. I get it and I understand it, but you ain't done. And what I'm saying to you is prioritize your wife. Prioritize spending quality time with him. Spending all of your time with the children is taken away from the connection that you could be having with her. And on top of that, you're also modeling what it looks like to be in a healthy or unhealthy relationship. Like one thing that I often say is that one of the most revolutionary things that we as black men can do is love our black women. And so if you're modeling appropriately what love looks like, then you're showing the children that you're spending the time with that this is what you need to do, connecting with your wife. Are you being intentional about that? Are you doing date nights? Are you spending time in the evening? If you're not, it's definitely going to take a toll. Your marriage will suffer, fam. Your marriage will suffer. And so in order for your marriage to grow, like you got to be intentional about it. If you're not, like that thing is going, that thing is, yeah. That energy is going to dissipate. It's going to start to fade. It's going to be a problem, a huge problem. And so again, if you got time for everything else, the NBA playoffs, fantasy football, whatever it may be, going bowling, going to the cigar lounge, going to the strip club, going to the bar. Just hanging with the fellas, hanging with the homies. Like you spend more time hanging with them than you do with your wife. That ain't a good look. And there's an impact to the relationship. And so then here's the other piece. Like, again, you emphasize, this was number one, I believe. You talk about work. You on that Rihanna vibe. I get it. But again, what I've seen is that your woman wants you. She wants you. And so if you're unable to engage in a relationship from a perspective of balance, if you're not striving for it, then what she feels is neglected. And as I mentioned a moment ago, what she feels is invisible. And so make sure that you're prioritizing her. And how do you know whether or not you're prioritizing her? Ask her. Ask her whether or not you're prioritizing quality time. Real talk, like, a lot of times the answer is no. The answer is no. Number 7, y'all. Number 7. Thinking apologies fix everything without change. Thinking apologies fix everything without change. This is significant. We as men, we mess up. Like everybody messes up, but I'm speaking to us specifically. Like we're gonna mess up. We're gonna jack it up. We're gonna F it up. We're gonna, just mess up. So sometimes we think that saying sorry is adequate. It's sufficient. It's all that's needed in order for us to move on. Like we want to say sorry and then tell them to suck it up. It's not like in some instances, it's not like I accidentally stepped on your foot or you accidentally stepped on their foot. Nah, like, we got dudes out here that's cheating. That's stepping out. That's emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, like hurting their spouses. And sorry simply does not cut it. It can be a start, but sorry means absolutely nothing without changed behavior. without changed behavior. Like if you keep on repeating the same old mistakes, doing the same old thing, you find ourselves in the same situation. You find yourself making the same phone calls. You find yourself on the same street. You find yourself in the same house and in the same box. And you keep on saying the same old I'm sorry. There is no change behavior. There's no change behavior. You're saying I'm sorry to pacify and to possibly appease me for the moment, but that shit gets old. It gets old because what ends up happening is that your wife is gonna stop believing you, fam. Gonna stop believing you. And when that time comes, like, it's almost a wrap. Or it may be a wrap. It may be a wrap. I can recall speaking with a sister, and the husband was profusely apologetic. This was an infidelity issue. The husband was profusely apologetic. But it had happened so often. And the pain was from the most recent situation was just so palpable. The stench was so pungent that, she just couldn't shake it. And so she had heard the sorry several times, umpteenth times. She had heard the sorries, heard the apologies. And at this particular point, she could care less about the sorry. This is where she was. I can care less about it. Because it doesn't hold any weight. It doesn't mean anything. You keep on doing the same thing. And I'm not going to even waste the time or waste the energy to say that you're not going to change. I'm going to let you say I'm sorry. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a boundary and make a step in a different direction. Fellas, we need to have the change behavior. If you're going, people mess up. People mess up. And I'm sorry you in that space, Precious. But people mess up. People make mistakes. And people make mistakes depending upon the nature of the mistake. They may make the mistake over and over again. But are you doing something different to educate yourself, put yourself in certain positions and places to level up? Bam, if you over here on IG and you a dude, comment level up. Like, one thing that I know men need is a path and a process. A path and a process. We got a Kimi retreat happening March 21st to the 24th in Tennessee. You comment level up, you'll get access to a wait list over here on IG. Fill in your information, then I'll reach out to you, see whether or not we have spaces left. Over here on with the Blamley. Y'all have probably gotten the link. I've sent it out multiple times. So, y'all can go ahead and sign up. Like I don't need to do a wait list with y'all because I'm familiar with y'all. So y'all can go ahead and sign up. And show up. And some of the brothers that's in the room right now that's going to be there, I'm excited about it. Y'all going to be getting the email today about with some additional details. So yeah, I'm excited about it. And on YouTube, I'm going to drop the link for y'all as well too. But again, you got to put yourself in a position, fam. It don't mean that it's going to be pretty. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but at least get on the path. Get on the path. Are you going to keep on running into the same old situations? Number one, because you're not on the path. One thing that I know is that when you put yourself in proximity of people that's like really trying to level up and grow, then what happens is that when you deviate and when you get off the path, you could be yanked back. You could be yanked back. And some dudes need that. Real talk, some dudes need that. Like I know when I'm working with people, like the people who deviate from the path, it'd be very apparent. And it's also apparent when there's a deep desire to be pulled back to. And so let me run through these 7 things really quickly. Number 1, what I shared was a mistake that these are 7 mistakes that men make in marriage. Number 1, not leading with emotional presence. Like you're dividing yourself in half when you just only lead with the logical piece, y'all. You're made up of more than just the logical, the left brain situation. You got the right too. Honor the right side of the brain, y'all. Like it's the creative, the emotional piece. Like make sure you honor that piece as well too. Number 2, avoiding difficult conversations. Like you think about running away from having conversations and shutting down, stonewalling, that you're saving yourself to live another day. That might be the truth, but what happens is that if that happens over time, over and over and over again, like it's interrupting and interfering with her possible peace. And what it does is it builds and leads to resentment. And so you want to make sure that you're having the difficult conversations. Don't avoid them. Have the difficult conversations. Number 3, neglecting affection and intimacy. Intimacy is about more than just getting busy. It ain't just about sex, y'all. It's about the mental piece, the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical. And so what you got to do is prioritize making sure that you're moving toward connection in those different domains. When you're not, then it feels like there's a sense of neglect that's present. Like you're neglecting the affection and the intimacy. And some of y'all know what I'm talking about because you do it or you don't do it. And what I'm challenging you to do is to just do it. Number 4, taking her for granted. Your woman, she does a lot. Real talk, if she does nothing, her presence is enough. Like God placed her in your life. You gonna take that for granted? God has given you a gift. The gift of being able to see yourself through a different lens, the gift of a different perspective, the gift of a mirror. You gonna take that for granted? Stop taking your wife for granted, fam. Number 5, being defensive instead of open. Like depending upon how you grew up, what you experienced, and how your family rolled, you may have found yourself in a situation in which like you are constantly on guard. You try and knuckle up everywhere and in every situation. What I'm saying to you is that like stop fighting your wife. Why are you fighting her? Y'all should be fighting the world, but why are you fighting her? She's your teammate. She's your ally. She's your cheerleader. Like receive what's being expressed. Stop being defensive. Be open to her perspective. You can't cover all angles, fam. Like, again, she's covering, like she got different perspectives and vantage points. Appreciate that. Celebrate that. Number 6, not prioritizing quality time. You can't have time for the Lakers. You can't have time for the Chicago Bears. You can't have time for whatever hockey league or Major League Baseball. You can't have time for poker, strip club, cigar bars, and whatever it may be. Lounges, hanging with the fellas, and not have time for her. And even outside of all of that stuff that adults be doing, even in terms of like with the children, we love our children, but you got to have private time with your spouse. Have private time with your wife. Tell them children to go sit down somewhere. Some of y'all got grown folks in your house too, and you still using that as an excuse. I need to spend time with him. She's at home. I need to spend time with her. Like, again, what you're doing is you're modeling what healthy love looks like. So prioritize quality time with your wife. Show your sons what it looks like to be in love with your wife, with their mom. Show your sons what it looks like to be prioritizing and focused on having a healthy relationship. Show your daughters what it looks like to be in relationship with a man that prioritizes a wife. Show your daughters what it should look like or what they should be looking for when it comes to their mate. Prioritize quality time. And then last but not least, thinking apologies fix everything without change. Apologies without change behavior. It's just empty rhetoric. Cut it, fam. Cut it. Stop it. Do something different. Stop talking about it. Be about it. Your wife is tired of you talking about it. She wants you to be about it. All right, y'all. I'm going to put a pin in it right there. Again, on IG, comment level up. I got a retreat coming up March 21st to the 24th. There's only a few spots left. So if you're interested, comment level up. I'm going to shoot you a DM with a link where you can get on the wait list, and then I'll reach out to you personally. Blamly, for those of folks who are on Zoom right now, what you can do is y'all got the link. Go to kingmecommunity.com. And actually, no, y'all got the direct link. So y'all can go ahead and get your spot. Only a few spots left. I'm excited. It's going down March 21st to the 24th. And we're going to be building, y'all. It's nothing like building in person. It's nothing like being in each other's presence. It's nothing like, getting the support, having a safe space, but also being held accountable. And so that's what we're going to do. All right, good peoples. Again, these were 7 mistakes men make in marriage. Hopefully you got something, and hopefully you won't make one of these mistakes tonight. That's my hope and my prayer. All right, y'all. Peace out. All right, IG. Peace out, y'all.